What's up, fam? I am Chosen 144. Be aware of energy vampires, okay? This shit is realer than real. There are energy vampires everywhere, energy parasites, who latch on to light beings, empaths, for energy supply. Okay? Now, these will be people that have been wounded heavily. They will be wounded by not feeling safe as a child, or wounded by being abandoned as a child, or wounded by being hurt in high school by, an abusive relationship or something like that. Along the way, things have happened that have wounded these beings. And instead of facing into those wounds, instead of partaking in the act of forgiveness of self and others and things like that, they start to create this facade. They start to create a character, okay? And they live attached to this identity that they've created, rather than healing emotionally, spiritually. Now, they search for beings with big energy. They search for light beings, empaths. They search for natural healers, okay? And they will attach, they will latch on. Now, this could be a friend, this could be a lover, this could be a family member, a so-called blood family member. And you will know, because whenever you interact with them, you will feel your energy being depleted. And after the interaction, you will literally feel like you have been drained of your life force. Okay? And when you are interacting with them, they will always say things and do things that trigger an emotional response. It doesn't matter what the emotional response is, whether it's negative or positive. For the most part, they prefer negative. It's a nice constant flow of supply. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for them to create a negative emotional response than a positive one, you know? So they tend to prefer that. But either way, they will be doing and saying things that get an emotional response, okay? And it usually always begins with them creating an image of themselves for you to see that is very vulnerable, very hurt, okay? Very poor me, poor me. And that's what attracts the empath, okay? Because the empath innately wants to assist, wants to help, wants to heal, wants to fix things. And an empath will throw their whole being into this. Like, they will dedicate and go above and beyond to assist, to help, to heal. And that is exactly what the narcissist wants. That's exactly what the energy vampire wants. You know what I'm saying? I say narcissist because that's sort of like the archetype that best represents an energy parasite. You know what I'm saying? That's what people will relate to. That's why I use the term narcissist. But I am telling you, these energy vampires, whether it's your parent or a friend or someone at work or an intimate partner, they rely on your energy more than you could ever imagine, okay? And this will have them leveling up in life, seemingly. This will have them having some financial success. This will have them looking healthier. This will have them feeling healthier. This will have them physically looking better and things like that. And this will have them, in a state of being of, big energy, because they're living off of the light being's energy. And as a result, because there's no healthy energy exchange, the light being will gradually deplete more and more and more and more and more until, they're discarded, or until they realize they're being drained and they break away and call their power back, whatever. But just know that energy vampires are very real, and it doesn't have to be a big, long journey of vampirism. You interact with energy vampires a lot throughout the day, out in public and things like that. It could be a server that's making your coffee, or it could be, somebody that you encounter on the street that stops for a chat, a stranger or something like that. Be aware. They will trigger an emotional response, and they do this unconsciously for the most part. And you will feel drained after it. So I suppose I'm just making this video to say, start to pay a lot of attention to how you feel after you interact with certain people. If you feel like somebody may be draining you of your energy, pay attention. Even just like make notes of how you feel or something like that after you've interacted with them, and act accordingly. You've got to cut these types off. You have to protect your energy from these types, okay? Because they are an endless pit, draining you of your life force, okay? There is no fixing these types. If they have decided unconsciously, for the most part, that they are not going to do the work and they are going to live in this identity that they've created and survive off other people's energy, that means they've made that decision, especially if they're in adulthood. It's a long way to do the inner work from there. And until they do that, these people, count them out of your physical reality, okay, completely. And count them out of your reality energetically too, because they can stay energetically attached to you if it is one of these long-term relationships, a friendship, someone at work, a family member. They can attach, okay? You must call your energy back from these people, which means give them no emotion. Okay? Give them none of your energy. If it's not a healthy two-way street of energy, it's not for you, fam. Okay? You need your energy so that you can create your reality. And we're being bombarded with enough bullshit via propaganda and shit like that without having extra energy being drained from us via people in our day-to-day experience, okay? So start to identify the vampires and count them out energetically, physically, from your reality. Just count them out, okay? Cut them loose. This is very important, okay? If this is an intimate relationship or a family member that has attached to your energy, they can take you out, okay? You will start to become unwell. You will start to become inflamed, and your body will start to experience dis-ease to the point where, this can finish you. This can be life or death. So pay attention. Remove the vampires from your experience and cancel out anything else that's draining your energy, that's uncalled for, okay? No longer place your energy into what other people have going on. No longer place your energy into picking a team, picking a faith, picking who you're going to vote for. Focus on you, okay? This is how you create your reality positively. And give your energy where you feel it is a healthy energy exchange, okay? Where you feel guided by your intuition to do so. That's the other thing. Your intuition is always screaming at you to fuck off these types of people that are draining you of your energy, okay? They are fixed into this reality that they've created for themselves, and they need other people's energy to survive, and they will do whatever they can. That's why when an empath and narcissist split, there will be this spinning of the block, and the narcissist will come back around to try and reattach to the energy of the empath, because they realize all of a sudden there's no main energy supply, and all their other energy supplies are nowhere near what the empath has. So they will frantically come back, they will love bomb, they will blow up, they will have an emotional roller coaster going on to try and get back in your energy, okay? That's why I'm telling you, fam. So do away with these types. I can't say that enough. Start to pay attention and act accordingly, because you got shit coming up that requires your energy, okay? I fucking love you, fam. Peace, love, and light. I'm rambling.